I'm bringing y'all this video tonight as a simple, quick discussion. Now, this video stems from some comments that were made, well, some similar comments to this, but mainly some comments that were made on the Phone 999's most recent video where he went Terminator Phone, One Piece Greatness, is Luffy nothing without his devil fruit, right? And yeah, the foolishness, the BS that people say is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now that video, so that y'all can see the general premise and see also the comments, will be in the description below. I shall probably say at the end of the video as well. The video, you see the topic. Would Luffy have made it across the Grand Line without his devil fruit? Now, first and foremost, this is the most obvious thing. He has yet to make it across the Grand Line because people get it twisted. Now, I understand the common use of the Grand Line is referring to Paradise, Part 1 of the Grand Line, okay? But the Grand Line includes both parts. We are now in the second part, the New World. Now, I've talked about the New World plenty of times, and I don't have to address that now. But Luffy will not have completely made it across the Grand Line until he reaches I believe it's the Red Line. I believe. Or he's made it across the Red Line. Anyway, he completely goes around the world. You know, the circumference of the Grand Line. Understand that. Number two, let's take this back to the beginning. And then we'll deal with the Grand Line / Paradise. Then we will deal with the New World. Now, when we go back to the beginning, let us look at who he's facing. He's faced, number one, Alvito. Now, when you want to understand, when you're talking about Luffy's devil fruit, the Gumma Gumma no Mi, his rubber fruit, one of the main things about it, besides his stretching ability, is his pretty much invulnerability to blunt attacks. It's pretty much the basis of it, right? Alvito, okay, we see that, and we see that was, first early scene. Okay, we see his devil fruit. That was the whole purpose of that. Now we move on to real competition. Buggy the Clown. With Buggy the Clown, what is Buggy's main weapon in that fight? Knives. Knives. Now, if you know anything, Luffy's weakness as his devil fruit weakness is cutting knives. We look at Captain Kuro. Captain Kuro on Surf Village. What was his main weapons? Besides his speed, it was his slashing claws, like some elongated Wolverine action going on. Then we look at what? We look at Don Krieg. Now, Don Krieg used it on the Barate, okay? In that whole battle, he used a variety of weapons, but the number one I remember is those piercing, kind of like hollow tip bullets kind of going there. You understand that? Once again, then we look at what? Arlong, cut. Y'all remember the nose? I remember the teeth. Luffy bleeding. Cut. Except for one, and how can I forget? Captain Axehand Morgan between Alvito and Buggy. Luffy's, you could say, first real opponent. Axehand Morgan. Luffy, are people retarded? Through the whole East Blue, pretty much, Luffy faced against cutting things. He used raw strength. Yeah, we saw his devil fruit, but it was raw strength. I've said this before. Raw strength and a sheer will. Now let's go to the Grand Line. Who does he face? He faces his first. We have Wapol. Wapol with his crushing. Wapol was relatively a joke. Let's be real. Wapol was a joke compared to Luffy. But we see Wapol with his crushing, whatever. But then we go. He defeats his first Shichibukai. He defeats Sir Crocodile, a Logia user. The Sand fruit. Luffy got, he got really beat once. He was about to get beat a second time, but he figured out, because he's a fighting genius, which I established, I always talk about, Luffy being one of the greatest fighting geniuses ever. You know what I'm saying? He adapted and he found Crocodile's weakness, moisture. He tried to use the water in the second battle. It almost worked, but it didn't work. Then he used blood. He beat a Logia, someone who was way more OP, way more powerful than him. And then, he got obviously defeated by Aokiji. He was supposed to face Aokiji, freaking admiral, one of the strongest people in One Piece. Then here's where it starts getting. Here's one of the two instances where people really harp on Luffy. If he didn't have his devil fruit, he went to Skypiea and he faced off against Enel. Now, as a lot of people have mentioned, that's bogus for this very reason. And now switched up on him. It wasn't his rubber ability negated the initial lightning charges, electrical shocks, but he changed up and he started cutting Luffy. Luffy changed it up and he found a way to beat Enel. People forget because they talking all that nonsense, all the BS, and not thinking. Now, first and foremost, that number one, the whole fight with Enel, although it counts toward the One Piece story, and I'd say definitely go watch the Skypiea arc. When you look at it, this is very factual. Skypiea technically isn't even part of the Grand Line. Now, it was at one point, but it has not been a part of the Grand Line for 400 years. It was considered mythical. You remember that whole mockery by Bellamy? You know what I'm saying? Of Zoro and Luffy? Have people forgotten this? The whole fact of Nolan's descendant trying to get there? Did y'all forget the story? The whole fact that the Skypians were a whole separate race of humans divided into two tribes? Skypians and the Shandorians? Have y'all forgotten all that? But then we move on. We move on, see Water 7. We move on from there, and we get the second incident people always bring up. Oh, if Luffy wasn't, he wouldn't have beat. Now, they throw in the whole Bluno and the Rob Lucci fight all together. He developed Gear Second. Now, that's understanding his ability, okay? But, what was it? People often mention, which I forgot about. It was an adaptation of the Soru technique at which he saw CP9 use. So he used that against Bluno. He just happened to adapt it to his own body. What do you know what I call that? He's a fighting genius. He adapts. And I've done a whole video on what is a fighting genius, okay? So go check that out. And I'll put that in the description down below as well. I believe I shall. So, we have that. He defeats Bluno. Now, when we look at Rob Lucci was a devil fruit user. Number one, he was a leopard user. Number two, Rob Lucci, once again, cutting up Luffy. Luffy adapting, using his Gear Second. And did he use Gear Third on that? Well, he broke through the door, he used Gear Third. But you want to know something about Luffy, about the whole Rob Lucci incident? Once again, how do you even throw that in? Why? That shouldn't even be talked about. Yes, it's a part of the One Piece story, but like with Enel, it doesn't count. Because what did happen? Luffy invaded Enies Lobby because of Robin. Luffy didn't have to go to Enies Lobby. The same thing as Luffy chose to go to doggone Skypiea. If Robin didn't go with CP9 /kidnapped, she would have never, Luffy would have had no business running to Enies Lobby or running into Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci was on some next level stuff. He was on some almost new world stuff. Freaking, and now, if people talk about how they believe it would have said something along the lines of, Enel would have had a bounty if he was a pirate of 500 million berries. And now with one of the most powerful Logias. You look at Rob Lucci, one of the most powerful characters. And after time skip, I'm gonna still hold one of the most powerful characters in One Piece. Are you kidding me? That's not part of. How is Enies Lobby technically a part of the Grand? It's a part of the Grand Line, but it's not part of the Grand Line on the normal instances. Rob Lucci, he shouldn't have followed the normal circumstances. So how do you even throw these characters in there? And then we looked at that. They go to Thriller Bark, where he beats his second Shichibukai. Now we can call Gekko Moria the weakest of all the Shichibukai, but it doesn't matter. He still beats him, Gekko Moria. In Shadow Asgard State, by Luffy doing some nightmare, sheer willpower. Have people forgotten that? Don't even try to throw it in the Bartholomew Kuma thing. Don't try to throw it in that. You know, the whole situation that Zoro dealt with, that once again had to do with plot. Thriller bark. And Luffy runs relatively ran in the book. They ran in the found book, and then they went and chose to go help Brook get his shadow back. And then the book becomes the Night Straw Hat movie. Have people once again forgotten? They I guess people forget about the whole story of One Piece. I guess so. So he defeats his second Shichibukai. And you can say, oh, but he used his powers. Y'all must have forgotten Nightmare and Luffy. I'm just saying. Nightmare and Luffy. Now, let's go on where? Sabaody. The Sabaody Archipelago. Who does he face off against? He faces off the Pacifistas. He faces off, well, they got interrupted, but he was about to get wrecked by Admiral Kizaru. We see that Bartholomew Kuma separates them. That he made it to the end of Paradise. That was the end before Fishman Island. And he faced off against some top tiers. I don't understand how people are not understanding this. I don't understand. And then, let's look at the New World. He's got, because the Straw Hats got, okay, they passed through Fishman Island. They dealt with that business. He's pissed off Big Man. Then there's a situation on Punk Hazard where it was a distress call which ruled them, in which through means got them dealing with Don Quixote do Flamingo and doggone, in essence, Kaido. What is it that people are not understanding? There's fate and then there's choices that Luffy's making. He wouldn't have made it are you kidding me, bro? He wouldn't have made it without his devil fruit. So, hold on. Let's look at this. Remember on Sabaody Archipelago, there was the 11 supernovas that met up. Let's see. I'm not excluding, obviously, Roro, Zoro, and Luffy. We have 9 others. And you can kind of say we're going to eliminate one because Killer is a part of Useless Captain Kid's crew, the Kid Pirates. So 8. See, 8 other crews made it. Okay, Kid's powerful, obviously. Trafalgar obviously is powerful. Boss of Hawkins was a monster. Scratchman on Poop, he came up. Okay. But then we have, and obviously the Red Flag X-Drake, former Rear Admiral, if I'm not mistaken. We got people like Uruguay. We got some Jewelry Bonnie. We got Capone. We got is that it? Is that it? Am I missing anybody? Let's see, Luffy. I believe I got everybody. But we have some relative, weaker characters. That's all I'm saying. They made it to the Grand Line, to the end of Paradise. And I guess they've all made it into the New World as yet. We haven't seen them all. But there was that, that shot in, I think the cover arts or something like that. But anyways, that's beside the point. My point is, this is absolutely ludicrous. Once again, people spitting out BS, not knowing what they're talking about, just hating on Luffy, hating on One Piece, because it's just greatness, because Ichiro Oda has written a masterpiece. Sorry, y'all. And people, I'm done. Y'all expect me to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me y'all thoughts. I'm sorry, I had, this video went a little bit longer, but I just, once again, okay, Phone's video is going to be in the description. That other one I mentioned, I'm probably not even going to put in there because I forgot what other video was, but it's besides the point. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Till next time, y'all. Please don't spout BS.